President Reagan, thank you for taking the time for this interview. Let's go ahead and get started. It's a well-known fact that you've been dead for 8 years. Why did you decide to come back now?
Well, it goes like this. For the first 4 years, I was all right. Then, I couldn't stop turning over in my grave for the last 4. So, I had to come up here to see what in the world is going on. And let me tell you, I found things very disturbing.
What did you find disturbing?
I left America with close to 20 years of economic growth. And now, because of the current president's policies, the country has been left in an economic fog.
Do you think the president has done enough to help the economy recover from the Great Recession?
Let it show on the record that when the American people cried out for economic help, Barack Obama took refuge behind his definitions of recession and recovery. Well, if it's definitions he wants, I'll give him 3. Recession is when your neighbor loses his job. Depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when Barack Obama loses his.
Have you noticed a change in the political climate in Washington since you left?
No, not really. On the subject of politics, it is supposed to be the second oldest profession. I have come to realize that it bears a close resemblance to the first.
Do you feel you contributed to these problems?
Yes, because for many years, I was a Democrat.
Interesting. Moving on to the next subject. What is your opinion of the U.S. involvement in the Middle East?
We are at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind. And it's been said, if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there is no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
Returning to domestic issues, do you think the president's policies have affected the American dream?
He tells us we must learn to live with less, and teaches our children that their lives will be less full and prosperous than ours have been. That the America of the coming years will be a place where, because of our past excesses, it will be impossible to dream and to make those dreams come true. I don't believe that, and I don't believe you do either. That is why I am supporting Mitt Romney for the presidency. I cannot and I will not stand by and see this great country destroy itself.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. President?
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth. Or we will sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. Next Tuesday, all of you will go to the polls. We'll stand there in the polling place and make a decision. I think when you make that decision, it might be well if you would ask yourself, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Thank you for your time, Mr. President.
And thank you. Now remember, everyone, go out and win this one for the Gipper.